You are not going to struggle most trying to pay off your mortgage. You are not going to struggle most surviving a stock market crash. The single hardest financial milestone you will ever hit, the one that breaks most people before they even get close, is a number so unsexy that almost nobody makes a video about it. $100,000. Charlie Munger, the man who sat beside Warren Buffett and helped build one of the greatest wealth machines in human history, called it a beast. Not a challenge. Not a hurdle. A beast. And in the next 12 minutes, you are going to understand exactly why he said that, what the math actually looks like under the hood, and, most importantly, the specific system that is helping people cut that timeline in half. Stay until the end. Because the last section is the one most finance channels never touch. Here is the uncomfortable reality of the early game. When your balance is small, you are doing almost all of the work yourself. Picture this. You have $3,000 invested and the market delivers a strong 10% year. You made $300. That is a nice dinner. You could have earned the same amount picking up 2 extra shifts. This is why the journey from 0 to 100,000 feels like running in wet sand. Your savings rate is everything right now. Whether your investments return 5% or 10% barely moves the needle. The math is just not on your side yet, and that is not a bug, it is physics. But something completely changes the moment you cross that line. And I am going to show you the exact number where your money starts working harder than you do. Keep watching. At $100,000 invested, a 7% average return generates roughly $7,000 in a single year, without you touching it. Just sitting there. For most people, that approaches what they can realistically save in 12 months. Suddenly, your money is pulling as much weight as you are. You have hired a tireless, invisible partner who shows up every single day and adds to your pile without asking for a single thing in return. This is the snowball Munger was describing. At the top of the hill, it is small, and you push it hard just to get it moving. But once it builds enough mass, gravity takes over. Your job shifts from pushing to steering, and it accelerates from there. The gap between 0 and 100,000 might take 7 or 8 years of grinding. The gap between 100 and 200? Maybe 5. Between 200 and 300? 3 years. By the time you are looking at real wealth, your portfolio is growing by 6 figures on a random Tuesday without any change in your behavior. Now, if you are watching this and thinking, I want a structured system for getting to that first 100,000 faster, there is a link in the description to the exact program I recommend. It is not for everyone, but for the people it is built for, it genuinely shortens this timeline. Check it out after the video. Link is below. Okay, back to the math. Because this next part is where most people have it completely backwards. Everyone treats becoming a millionaire as the ultimate hard milestone. But mathematically, the distance between 0 and 100,000 is far more difficult than the distance between 100,000 and 1 million. To reach 6 figures from nothing, you are multiplying your wealth by massive factors through pure discipline and sacrifice. To get from 6 figures to 1 million, your compounding engine is already running. The hard work is done. That is not motivation. That is arithmetic. The numbers are only half the story. When you are in that early phase, you are fighting on every front at once. Your income is often at its lowest. You might be carrying debt, watching peers spend freely on things that feel out of reach. Every dollar you move into your investment account is a dollar you chose not to enjoy today. And your portfolio is not big enough yet to give you any emotional return on that sacrifice. You check the balance, basically flat, and you start telling yourself a story. Maybe I am not the kind of person who builds wealth. That story is the real enemy, not the market, not your income. That story. So, what does the actual path look like? I am going to give you 3 specific moves, not generic advice, that the people who hit 100,000 fastest almost always have in common. These are things you can apply this week. Let's go. Move 1. Your savings rate beats your investment picks. Stop spending energy chasing the perfect fund or the hottest stock. That energy is better spent increasing your income and preventing lifestyle inflation. Job hop strategically. Build a side income. When your salary goes up, lock your lifestyle in place. Move 2. Treat every windfall like building material. Tax refunds, bonuses, gifts. Anything that arrives outside your normal paycheck goes straight into the account. Not a vacation, not a newer car. Into the machine. The people who reach that first 100,000 fastest are almost always the ones who refuse to let windfalls evaporate. Move 3. Reframe the timeline. You are not signing up for a lifetime of deprivation. You are committing to a concentrated sprint. A few years of focused discipline to get the snowball moving. Once it has mass, you get your life back. This season has an expiration date. Look, everything I just described works. But the people I have seen execute it fastest are not doing it alone. There is a wealth building program linked in the description below that essentially takes these principles and builds a step-by-step roadmap around your specific situation. I put the link right at the top of the description. It is worth 3 minutes of your time to check it out, especially if you are in that muscle phase right now and feeling like the grind is not adding up. The link is below. Think of your entire wealth journey in 3 phases. The muscle phase, 0 to your first meaningful threshold, where discipline is everything and returns barely matter. The snowball phase, where compounding becomes visible and your job is to not break what you built. And the acceleration phase, where your portfolio moves by significant amounts on an ordinary Tuesday and money shifts from being your master to being your tool. If you are in phase 1 right now, you are not behind. You are exactly where every single wealthy person started. That feeling of pushing uphill is not a signal that you are failing. It is a signal that you are doing the thing 90% of people give up on. Munger was right. The first 100,000 is a beast. But it is the most important beast you will ever conquer. Because once you are on the other side of it, the rules of the game change permanently in your favor. Drop a comment right now. Which phase are you in? Muscle, snowball, or acceleration? I read every single one.